the gate thing, him having like a house that then
Yeah,
like just shuts up, where it's like we've literally seen them just move walls apart.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why do we think that they are going to get stopped from this?
You
Yeah.
know, like we essentially showed that like they're very easy to beat or at least keep away if we have this structure of a gate. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, even if you set that up in the movie, even if it's a rule in the universe, I don't like the rule.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, come on, because then it makes them look kind of dorky. They're just gonna walk up and like, hey,
Come on.
What's your pleasure, Mr. Cotton?
Give me that box. It opens doors to the pleasures of heaven or hell.
You opened it. We came.
The Cenobites.
Demons to some, angels to others.
Hi, everybody, welcome back. Another episode of the Arrow in the Head show. Of course, Lance Vilchuk coming in, and special guest today, editor, writer, narrator, Joblo Horror original master, Mr. Tyler Nichols. Tyler Nichols, how you doing, my friend?
I'm coming from you in a much better, much more high quality than the last time that I was on the show. So, that alone, I just feel a lot better. I was so self-conscious when I watched back and saw how stuttery it was. So sorry, guys. It'll be a lot better this time.
But yeah, John is away on work. You decided to pop in to talk with me about the new Hellraiser.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Now, I think we're on the same page. I watched it 12:30 last night because it just dropped on Hulu, and I'm assuming you did the same.
Yep, I think I had it started at 12:01.
Good. So we're both tired, huh?
I am so exhausted.
Before we start, as me and John always do, I think you and me will do the same. Tyler, drinks.
Well, today, since it's a little early in the morning, so I've just got a coffee with a little Evan Williams in it. I like a little whiskey with my coffee. I wish I had some Irish cream, but didn't quite have that.
I was gonna say that's an Irish coffee, right?
Yeah, Irish coffee, but the Irish cream makes it a little bit better than just straight up whiskey in there, but I'll take it.
My friend, I'm drinking something called Fest Beer Lager. I poured myself a little bit in this glass, and we'll go from here. So,
Hell yeah.
cheers, my friend.
Cheers. Our viewers might be a little disappointed that since we don't have the classiness of John's Heineken or
Yeah, well, it's early. It's early. I still got stuff to do. I got to work, mow the lawn.
Exactly.
You're
We got a
drinking
full
whiskey
day
on
ahead.
vacation. Yeah, I got a beer. So, your thoughts on the new 2022 Hellraiser?
First off, I just have to say I'm a big fan of the franchise in general. I didn't know that I even was until recently. I would say in the last 6 months, I've really started watching them much more. And the aesthetic is something that I really, really enjoy. And that is something that this movie absolutely nails. The Hellraiser aesthetic is perfect. I love how they introduce the Cenobites. I love how creepy they are. I love how they're shot. David Bruckner does a wonderful job with the world of Hellraiser. So that I really, 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 really enjoyed. In terms of stuff that I didn't like the humans in it, but it's a Hellraiser movie. Outside of Kirsty, I don't think I've ever liked a character in a Hellraiser movie. So
I thought you believed me.
I do believe you, Riley. All
Then
right.
I thought that I could trust you.
I don't think that that's really a point against it, but I will say the human side, I just didn't give any bit of a shit about it. But yeah, otherwise, but I'm not showing up for the humans. I'm showing up for the Cenobites, and the different Cenobites they had. I thought, even though I think she's called the priest in this, not Pinhead, but Pinhead looked awesome. The Chatterer looked incredible. I liked the new Cenobites that they introduced. I don't even know their names, but they looked really fucking cool.
I noticed something I liked was they used their flesh to almost be clothing. There was no leather, which makes sense at this point in life. Like leather is very 80s to me. When the Hell Priest had her skin cut down as a skirt, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting way to go about it. Like they're all naked, but their flesh is essentially tied around them like clothes. I thought that's a really cool design. actually.
Yeah, I mean, it takes it out of the S&M world a little bit, which I mean, that's Hellraiser has a very S&M aesthetic. That's just what Clive Barker really brought to it. And I don't really care that they didn't do that in this film because of the fact that I like that it kind of gives it another identity. And like you're saying, of the skin, like the fact that it's their skin that is then their costume, and it works really well. I didn't
Yes.
even realize, I think until like I want to say halfway through the movie, when I look a little closer, it's like, oh wait, that's not leather, that's below. Like I just assumed
Yeah.
that it was leather, but no, it's skin. Though I guess technically leather is skin, but yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, their skin. And in this thing, they're not wearing clothes. And I think that's a neat detail.
I didn't expect it to be as I don't know, practical as it was in terms of the designs. I guess I was really bracing for some CGI monstrosities just because of the fact that that's kind of what we get nowadays. But so then the fact that we did get just some incredible practical effects and practical work, well, and not all incredible practical effects. There's some rough CGI in this movie. In
Yes.
particular, some of the puzzle box changes. I was kind of stunned at how low quality it was, because I understand too that now in the streaming era, they kind of they take an approach of, oh, we can fix that later, which I hope that that's what they're doing with this stuff, that they're just like, these are shots that we just we just need to get it out. We'll fix
Okay,
it
but that's
later.
I'm sorry, pardon my French. That's that bullshit shit with video games. When I grew up my whole life, when you got a video game, it was released, and now they fucking release a video game and then just fix it for 4 months. It's like no. Release the movie finished. But okay, I'd like to get in the spoilers real quick, but let me just end with this. Overall, and don't give me a rating because I think we'll get in that. But what do you think of Hellraiser 2022? Like, what's your thoughts?
I really liked it. Really, really, really liked it. I would put this amongst my favorite in the series, like right among Hellbound and the original and Inferno, which I know you love.
Oh my God.
So like there's one of the big things that people really dogged the franchise for is that there's other scripts that are then made into Hellraiser movies. That doesn't feel like with this movie. This 100% feels like a Hellraiser film for the first time in, I don't know, 20 years. So that alone,
Since, the fourth, I think 96 or something. Yeah, that'd be.
so it's been so long. So yeah, thumbs up from, like, I really, really enjoyed it. What about you?
How I describe my love is I the first four mean a lot to me. Though I'd say the first two are super important in terms of like really good films. I think that ties the series together. I do have a nostalgic love for 3 and 4. Flaws aside, I could see it. But those are the original theatrical run that I grew up with. Those were my video store movies. The straight to DVD era, I was a little older, so like I didn't really get into. And then when I did give him a chance, I was disappointed. So from Inferno to Judgment, those were all the ones I believe to be essentially different scripts. Those were the I think the dog days. Those were like the rough era. So it's been a long time since we got a good one. I would say I think this is a good movie that has great moments, and the things I do like, I think were excellent, absolutely excellent. But I got some negatives that I'd like to dig into. So spoilers. I know the movie just came out, so at this point going forward, if you continue with us,
Spoiling the shit out of it.
real quick, the design I absolutely loved of everybody. The Pinhead Cenobites, I agree with you. That was cool. I liked how they filmed it. I liked that Pinhead glowed and she had this ethereal vibe. And that's something I thought was a cool approach. Other Cenobites and Doug Bradley in the original, their vibe was different. This, it was, robotic in a way, at least for the Hell Priest. And I thought that was a smart way to go about it. You can't match Doug Bradley. His, demons to some,
Angels to others.
and this, she just has that robotic voice.
2 more, and he is yours. Once a threshold has been crossed.
The Cenobites were cool and weird. Like you said, practical. Having all the skin peeled and like the little wires and the little joints inside, I thought was awesome, man. I like the box. I got to be honest, that was my favorite part in terms of changes. I love this thing. It's like, I think it's so pretty. I have a couple around my house. And I thought the new one was cool that it kept changing configurations. I thought that was a cool idea, man. I like that. When it comes to how though they came, I think is my biggest issue. I do not like that they have to get sacrifices because I feel like that takes a long time. I don't know. That was my big issue. I noticed. I'd like your opinion on this. For this, if you see the pleasure and you opened it, you got the prize. Whereas I feel the new one now, it's like innocent people who are just hanging out can get cut and then taken to this world. I almost feel like before the Cenobites and the Hell Priests weren't necessarily bad people. They were seekers of pleasures we'll never know, but you only got them if you asked for them. You know, if you really played this. I mean, of course, in the second one they had they had the poor girl play it without knowing. But even then they're like, she didn't, it wasn't her that opened it, it was Chenard.
It is not hands that call us. It is desire.
So in this one, I felt like they were coming after a lot of innocent people, and I thought it was breaking some rules.
I can see that. I can absolutely see that. But I really like the fact there's some line where it might have been when she's talking to or when the Hell Priest is talking to Nora, the roommate, and I believe there was something said about like pleasure, like where it kind of implied that the Cenobites they don't view what they're doing as a bad thing, where they're giving, like, so it's not that these are innocent people, it's that they are bestowing these gifts upon people that wouldn't have gotten them otherwise. There's a lot of stuff that I really enjoy with how they set up the Cenobites coming in and killing others, because I like the whole innocent aspect because of the fact that then it kind of makes it even more of a slasher. I've always had a problem calling Hellraiser films a slasher series.
Yeah, they're not.
Now,
they're not.
Yeah,
this is a slasher.
This now, I mean, I run the Real Slasher series. I love me some slasher movies. And so that element, I think that then I'm able to just see the potential of what they can then do with sequels, because we got to see that a little bit of Voight with him. That's Goran Viznik's character.
I liked him a lot. I like sleazy businessman types. Yeah,
that's some of the better stuff in Hellraiser films usually. And so I like the idea of, there can be someone that then is murdering people with this box. I like that part of it, because then I like the fact that then we're getting supposed innocents brought into it, because before it's always just like deviants and people that you're kind of expecting or kind of want to die. But in this, it kind of felt like the brother had there was no reason. He is just a nice guy. He
cut his hand, and then ends up in tortured in hell.
Yeah, ends up, his soul is tortured and he's gonna have a rough time. And so I don't know. I'm just a sick fuck that enjoys that kind of stuff. I like when it's not just karma. Which there is a little bit of that, because there's the one assistant lady that we see in the beginning purchasing the box, that then she becomes one of the victims. So we do get to see a little bit of like karma, and obviously then Voight himself gets quite the karmic retribution. They kind of tease Colin getting killed. That's the boyfriend. And I thought for sure he was going to be dead. For sure. Waited most of the movie. And then he should have been, though. I mean, they held him too long. Everybody else gets killed like right away and tortured. They held him for like 5 minutes. It's like, come on, guys. Come on. I was like, I knew that they're going to switch. Yeah. I mean, I guess so. I guess then my issue is like the change in the Hellraiser is more slasher based. And I'll admit, for a reboot, that's not a bad idea. It's not, I don't love it. It's new, though. It's this new trajectory of the film. So I guess fair enough. I would say the positives, though, are always on the design. And I think Bruckner knocks it out. Like you said, it looks good. What is cool is, even though I have issues with innocent people, I like that when somebody got cut and they were coming, it wasn't actually the real world being affected. It was essentially like a portal to a dimension that they got pulled into. I thought that was a cool idea, because, in the first... all the Hellraisers, the Cenobites come into the real world changes and opens up. In this, it's the dimension. So like you could be in the girls in the van at the end, and the dimension opens up and she sees it and they come to get her, but she's just in the van and then disappears.
Shit!
It almost reminded me a little like Nightmare on Elm Street, which was cool.
Yes, actually, it definitely had that. Yeah, because it was almost like a dream vibe. They were, knocked out and weird. Once they get cut, they're almost drugged.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a good comparison.
Well, and I'm purely curious too. What did you think of? Because I think my favorite aspect of the movie was the shifting of the walls, and like at one point they're driving away and the pavement like shifts down and you see stairs. Like, oh, it's so good, and the CGI on it is incredible. So then it's very strange that then there's other shots that aren't so much.
I was assuming some of it was practical mixed with CGI. I could be wrong,
be.
but I agree though.
Yeah.
The dimension where things like the wall shift and becomes the hell dimension, I think was my favorite part. That being said, I will say it took way too damn long to get into that stuff. I was hoping kind of like we're so far into the series in terms of what we know, and even if it's a reboot, I was like, guys, don't wait 45 minutes. Just like, because they hinted at like the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then like the last 25 minutes, it's like that's the movie I wanted. I thought we waited way too damn long. I'll be honest, way too damn long. I was a little annoyed. That cool.
2 hours. What the fuck? Why is it a 2-hour movie?
It needed to be trimmed. I personally think I think it wasted a lot of time. My biggest issue really is that the stuff that was amazing, but like you said, the humans sucked. But we spent so much time with them, and they really, that I would say they treated this almost like we treated the first one, where it's like you don't see Pinhead till the very end of the movie. Jamie Clayton is not in the movie.
Yeah.
She's in it for 20 minutes at the end, and I think she was great, but they play the same roles they did in the first one, which I almost think at this point, maybe find a different way to do it. I understand that Cenobites shouldn't be the main characters, but maybe at this point they should.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got a little, you ever see, there's a French extreme movie. It's really, it's a difficult watch, but it's good, called Martyrs. You ever see that?
Yes.
Parts of this had that vibe of Martyrs, and I was like, I like that. Like with Voight finds pure existence. He becomes like almost a god, pure pain. And I was like, I like that stuff. I like them dealing with him and how we can't change, we can't take away a gift, but you can change for a different gift. And I was like, oh, I like stuff like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that he had like the machine box. It was just tearing at his nerves, but it'll never kill him.
Cycling through his nerves, so then it just would pull his nerve. Like, what the fuck? That is such a great idea.
That was cool. But I almost wish I spent more time with that as opposed to the characters I didn't like. But you make a point outside of Kirsty and maybe a couple characters. I think what I do like about the original, though, the Cenobites are in the back end. Julie and Frank are the main characters. They're villains. They're just murdering people, sucking their skin. And I felt that was a funner time for me. I liked walking around with those characters as opposed to a bunch of annoying drug addicts. And also, I will say this is a small complaint, but because I don't like the sacrifice aspect so much, because I just think it if I open this once, we get the Hell Priest, but now I gotta essentially get it 6 times to get the cool gift.
No.
I almost felt like it made me realize the plot holes and like how you'd have to get people. Like she knew it cut people, and then still for like half the movie, before she even knew what it did, it was like handing around and playing with it. It's like, well, we know it does something bad, and she was just kind of so blasé about it. I was like, come on, man. She finds the house, she gets into it, she finds all the stuff. I was wondering.
She's so unlikable. That girl is.
Oh man, a good actress, but I think the writing of her character bothered me the most.
She literally breaks her own car mirror at one point because she's so mad.
Yeah, she's mad. Yeah. And it's like, well, that's a ticket for that.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's not selfishness as much, it's ignorance in this for her. And like, you're right, she's just annoying. But the thing is, we find out that her boyfriend is a ringer. So why didn't he lead? You know what I'm saying? In terms of the story, it'd make more sense if he brought her places and showed her. But she takes over and essentially finds all this on her own. I almost felt like when I found out he was a part of the Voight group, I was like, well, now it doesn't make any sense, man. If you just had him showing her everything.
I will say, I put on the movie this morning when I was getting around, just because I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna have something on, I may as well have this on. And There are little things where he clearly is leading her. He's very
it's more obvious. Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely like there's certain she even tries to have him touch the box at one point, and he's like, "Whoa, no, not even getting near
No,
that."
I remember that because I remember thinking this guy's smart. Good, yeah. She's like, oh, those things. Like, whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there's things like that where it's like, and there's several moments, and like he'll leave at certain times where because he wants the box to do its thing. So like there's things that I didn't notice the first time that the second time I
But
did
did he
notice
lead
a
her
little more.
to the woman assistant? Did he lead her to the house? Those are two things that I was wondering how she really figured out. Like, why would he?
I genuinely can't.
Okay.
I can't
Well, I
remember.
mean, I guess this is the issue about talking about something that we watched an hour ago. Like, I haven't even been able to marinate in this. I like slept on it. My overall thoughts are: I think the stuff that matters was amazing. I thought anything in terms of the hell was great, but I do think we got too little of it personally. I know this is a starter, but I just feel Hellraiser is so big. I almost wish we focus more on that. Or I don't know. I was hoping we'd spend more time in hell.
That's the thing I'm really hoping for is that because that's kind of what we got with Hellbound.
Yes. I was hoping this would be.
But that's what I'm saying. Where then a sequel could then potentially then be a little more in hell, a little more Hellboundy. I'm hoping that that's where we're going with this, especially now we have the Leviathan introduced and they can do some more stuff with that. The line that one of the Cenobites says, again, I don't remember any of the names, and even looking at the IMDb, it's like, which one of these is it? The Weeper, the I think it's the Gasp says, "Save your breath for screaming."
Save your breath for screaming.
Fucking fantastic line and delivered so well. And I know the priest had some awesome lines too.
I don't think it was a strong story, and I think all the stuff that I really cared about was the last 20 minutes. Even if it became a little slashery, that's an issue I have. But you're right. Like, I think then it was like the hell up until the last 20 minutes. I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, this is a little tame. Yeah, it's a little tame. It's a little. I mean, there's some blood, whatever. But it's like this is all we get, and then it kind of kicks in the third gear. I'm like, okay, come on, guys. Well, we're waiting to the third act.
Yeah.
But no, everything. You're right, though. I mean, all the designs, how they looked, all the practicalness of them, I thought was great. And I wish I knew the names. Though I think they did Cheddar. I think they did him dirty.
Yeah, Cheddar.
I don't like how they handled him. They just killed him right away. I was like, come on, guys. You're killing. You're killing my the most famous Cenobite like that. I mean, maybe
I also kind of view it as that way he can just come back and just with a little more like deformities and stuff. Oh, and that's actually one aspect I wanted to bring up. So usually we get, which I guess technically we got with Void at the end, but usually the people that are getting killed, then we see them as Cenobites. It's like they've been changed. That's usually a very cool aspect that happens in like the third act. We don't get that here. All the Cenobites that we see are established. There's no one that like it would have been cool if the guy in the very beginning, if we got to see him then as a Cenobite later on.
I assumed we were going to see her brother as a Cenobite. I thought he was the one chasing her at the end, and then it wasn't. That's one of those things where it's like, if it's different, so I guess I can't complain. But that was, like you make a point, that was what made the other one so unique, is that we got to see what they then looked like.
Yeah.
What is this Cenobite going to look like? What is that? But then also we go so far, we get CD Cenobites and bar drink shaker Cenobites. So it's a slippery slope here.
Yeah. And I'm curious too, because I got some Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth vibes from when the Cenobites are like out in the courtyard area outside of the house, and they're outside. It very much felt like Hell on Earth, where they're in like a city environment, but there's no people around. There's a reason for it, so it makes sense. It's not like Hell on Earth where it's like, wait, what? This is a downtown area.
But I'll be honest, I didn't like how that looked, because it made them look kind of dorky when they just kind of sat there and hung out.
Slow.
Yeah. I mean, like the fact that they could run out real quick, look around, then run back. I was like,
Yeah. Same with the gate thing, him having like a house that then like just shuts up, where it's like we've literally seen them just move walls apart. Why do we think that they were going to get stopped from this?
I mean, I'm assuming they established that he has something, he knows something, but I don't like that exists. So I don't want that to exist. That's kind of lame. You know, like we essentially showed that like they're very easy to beat, or at least keep away, if we have this this structure of a gate. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, even if you set that up in the movie, even if it's a rule in the universe, I don't like the rule.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, come on, because then it makes them look kind of dorky. They're just gonna walk up and like, hey.
Come on.
Or just don't get stabbed too. Don't get stabbed by the box, and you can just walk right by him. Apparently.
Yeah, that was a little weird. But then again, then the traitor,
Mhm.
Chandler bites his arm.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, well, wait a second. Why would bite the guy's arm? He didn't open the box. He didn't touch it. Like it was aggressive, and that was a rule breaker. I was like, guys, come on. They should be super innocent unless you're the one they want.
Hellraiser, it's been straight to video, straight to DVD, straight to digital for like 2 decades at this point.
We've been swimming in a pool of shit for a long time.
Yeah. And so this is the first time we're actually getting, like, people are finally seeing like a competent Hellraiser movie, rather like where it's just like literally being made competently. Like literally there's an amazing shot of Voight towards the beginning where he picks up the lament configuration, not lamentation configuration. I fucked that up. But he picks it up and the camera starts spinning around and you see chains come and get that guy and pick him up and it's all going on in the background.
Yeah, it's all blurred out and he's just like,
it is such a fucking beautiful shot and it's so cool that I think that stuff like that, I mean, if you're not into horror movies, or especially if you're not into the Hellraiser series, you see things like that and it's like, oh damn, yep, this is the best this series has ever looked. Awesome. So then I think that there's a lot of that because I think that, I don't know, story doesn't seem to be quite as important as just an experience these days, because I think post-pandemic, post-COVID stuff, people would just want experiences. And I think that Hellraiser, I think this one gives quite the experience, even if I feel like there's going to be a very vocal minority that really fucking hates this movie, just like Prey. So I'm kind of anticipating that.
I see. I feel like the problem with that is like, but we're breeding divisiveness because they're wrong too. But if somebody says this is better than Hellraiser, it's like, no, it's not. It was not nearly as groundbreaking. It's pretty goddamn safe up until the last 10 minutes. But I would still pick Julia, Frank, and Kirsty Cotton over anybody in this movie. They do change a lot. I think that's smart. One of my favorite remakes. Because you're right though. I like that if we're doing things now, we're just not even trying to retell the old story. Nightmare on Elm Street was a good example of like how not to do it. But to me, Evil Dead is the best, modern remake in terms of taking something I love and somehow kicking ass. I think it's a good movie with some great moments, and I'm definitely down for more. If these people come back, I'd like to see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much on the exact same page. I was very, very interested. Like, I don't think I give any shit about the Riley character coming back or Colin. I don't really care about them and seeing what they're up to. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't mind if they continue the slasher tradition of killing off the characters from this movie in the beginning of the next film. But I mean, I loved the priest. I loved the Gasp, the Weeper. I'm looking at the names on IMDb.
I was like, how do you know this? They're just the random ones in the shadows. Yeah.
Well, I loved them. They were very cool, and I really am looking forward to what they do with this world, because we have Halloween Ends coming out. So now that series is going to be shuttered for a little bit. Haven't had Elm Street in so long. Haven't had Friday the 13th in so long. I'm just really hopeful that Hellraiser is back, because that was the reason too that I was so happy about Prey being good and having the success that it did, because I want more Predator movies. And guess what? I want more Hellraiser movies. So even if they don't completely nail everything in this, I think that they got enough right that I'm very, very interested in where they will take this in the future.
Yeah, if we get more, I'm down. I'm absolutely down. Maybe I think I want another writing team personally. I don't like Goyer. I know he does good stuff, but I feel like he's one of those.
Does he do good stuff?
Well, he did the Dark Knight trilogy. You know, like I'll give him that. But
did he do it though, or did
he's a part
talk
of
to
it.
Christopher Nolan and then
fair
Christopher
enough. He's
Nolan
a part of
did
it. But I'm saying I don't want him on this because I feel he's the kind of guy that is so varied in quality where it's like, he could just be like a good idea man. He could be the guy that's sitting there smoking cigarettes, throwing darts at the board and giving you ideas for you to write. That could be it. I think I'm a little cynical. I want a little meaner of story next time. How many, like I'm a 4-star guy in my old life and Joblo's 10. So what are we rating this out of?
Just because John's not here doesn't mean we're gonna switch up your little rating system. We're doing 10s. I'm a critic on a site. I'm used to the 10s.
I know. I never liked 10. It's just too many damn numbers. I would say 6 out of 10, but then that last 30 minutes is a 7 out of 10. I think I'm gonna have to marinate. I have the problem with you talking with you right now after watching like 3 hours ago is that like I'm putting my opinion out there, but it's gonna marinate and change a little. So I don't know. So 6 or 7, depending on where I stand. It could be a 7 in 2 weeks. It could stay to 6. I don't think it's going to go lower or higher, but I would say between a 6 and a 7.
I'm very much one of those people that believes whatever you feel in the moment, you should absolutely say that. Even if I see a movie and I'm like, this is a 10 out of 10, chances are if I see it another time, it might drop a bit. But if in that moment I'm like, yep, it's a 10 out of 10, then I do it. I don't bemoan myself for that. Yeah, with this, when I watching it last night, I thought once it ended, I was like, I think that's an 8 out of 10 movie. I really, really liked that. However, today, like, especially after talking with you and marinating on it a little bit more and seeing, the first like 45 minutes again, I would probably rest at like a 7 because I did still really, really enjoy it. But like you said, the really, really, really good stuff is just in that final 20-30 minutes, and it's a little bit of a slog otherwise because they hint at some of the cool Cenobites and the cool Hellraiser stuff, but we don't really see anything until way, way, way too far into the movie. I will say though, I don't want a fucking explanation for the priest. If in the next movie suddenly we're getting wartime flashbacks to her as like a nurse or something on the battlefield, I am gonna be fucking pissed. But as long as they don't do that, I'm 100% on board for a sequel.
All right, buddy. Well, enjoy your trip to Tampa. Get a cigar and enjoy yourself, man.
Oh, I shall.
Be talking to you soon, okay?
Yep, take it easy.